Hello and good evening, everybody. I'm excited to come on live today. And before I get going really good, I am going to open up another Facebook window so that I can see comments and questions and actually who's sending them to me. So I love engagement. So this is a wonderful opportunity. Hey, everybody. And so, as you are coming on, please say hello to me. Yeah, tell me your name, tell me where you're tuning in from. And if you are somebody who's in the path of the storm, this hurricane, I pray safety and protection from that. I'm in Florida, and so we were definitely impacted yesterday. Many of us, I'm in Central Florida, so many of us it was just rain, and so I haven't really heard anything as far as power outages or any injuries, thank God. So we just pray that we get past hurricane season, okay? And so thank you all for as you're chiming on, please say hello to me and give me an idea of where you're tuning in from. And so my name is Sandra Goltry, and I am a registered dietitian nutritionist, and I want to congratulate and welcome each and every one of you personally for joining Post Summer Detox. Is a 3-day challenge designed to help you to kind of get back on track with eating, with health, with weight, after the summer madness, right? Whether you have kids or not, something about June and July, things just change, right? We're a little more relaxed, less traffic on the road, we travel more. And so we got to recover from that. And now we're trying to find that routine back, right? And so I'm super, super excited. This is my final challenge for the year. So definitely take advantage of this. I only am able to do this a few times a year. So take advantage, and each one has a different theme. And so I'm more excited to have each of you join me on this epic ride to embark, before the holiday season comes in. So this will kind of set you up, put you in a good position before the holiday season starts up, which is around the corner. I think it's October now. So kudos to each and every one of you for not giving up on your health goals, your weight loss goals that you set probably back in January, because you are here, okay? It's not over. It's never too late. As long as you're breathing and you still have desire, then it can happen, okay? And so before I share my weight loss and blood pressure journey, I love to ask a question. I'm all about polling. And so I'm going to ask, has anybody ever done a detox? So if you have ever done a detox in any form, any fashion, just simply say yes or no. Whether it's juicing, whether that's cutting out sweets, whether that's cutting out sodas, whether you're cutting out something that you are saying because you want to kind of detox from it. And so feel free to let me know that, okay? Because there's a lot of different perspectives on detoxes. And hey, Lisa. Heather, hi, Heather. Thank you for sharing, okay? And if you want to share the name, definitely, feel free to share the name, but just the fact that you've done a detox. And so there are different forms of detoxes. I personally believe that by eating whole foods and by eating around the food groups, limiting, not necessarily avoiding, but limiting how much you eat out, and monitoring the fun food, because we need to have that too. That's a form of a detox, because many of us, we avoid many things, not realizing that they really provide a lot of nutrients that our body needs. So once we give the body what it needs, then to me, that's a form of a natural detox. The liver does a great job of detoxing, so it doesn't need our help. Okay, so that's kind of the clincher with detoxes. It doesn't need our help. Our body knows how to do it, but we're helping our body not have to work so hard if we're putting good things in our body more than not. And so the purpose of hosting challenges throughout the year is really tied towards my passion for helping people to become the best versions of themselves in health and sustaining that. Okay, sustaining that over time, because that's what it's all about. So it's not about a band-aid, it's not about a sprint, it's more of a marathon. And so what do you need to do to integrate healthy lifestyle into your day-to-day routine? So that's what it's about. And so and we all have common goals. Many of us want to get beyond some kind of weight plateau. We want to fit better in our clothes. We want to know, well, what's the best thing to eat for me? What's the best thing to eat for my body and my medical conditions? And we just want to feel better, because a lot of us, we feel bloated, we're inflamed, we're in pain, we're tired. So we have a lot of things that we want to resolve. And how do we do that when we have competing priorities in life, i.e. busy, right? How do we handle all that? And so if you can relate to any of that stuff, just kind of post because I'm in the same boat. I got to juggle, life just like everybody else. So it's tough. It's tough. And at the end of the day, I am committed to helping people move forward with their health and their weight goals to where it doesn't get pushed to the side for the things of life. We got to find a way to integrate the two, and that's what it's about. And so our itinerary for today is I'm going to speak briefly about the pre-challenge assessment form that each of you should have received when you signed up. And then we're going to go through the guidebook, which is our roadmap. It's our roadmap throughout this 3-day journey. And it also has a schedule of events. So you'll see exactly what topics I'm talking about. And then I'm going to speak about how the challenge will run. Okay. And you're going to get some opportunity to do some daily check-ins. You're going to have opportunity to engage, as well as the live streams that I'll do each day, as well as the replays. Okay. So if you're not there, if you're not able to make it, the replays are available, but I do highly encourage you to try to carve out that time at 12:30 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to attend, even if you can only attend for a short period of time. Just being engaged live, it really just helps with that process of accountability and really feeling like you're part of the challenge. And then we'll have any kind of Q&A. So if you have any questions or comments, then feel free to ask. And so in brief, so let me kind of share a little bit about myself and my health journey. And so for me, it began in my early 30s. And I was at my highest weight, and I was kind of in denial about it. I had gained about 15 pounds in 1 year, and I really didn't see it. I really didn't know it until I went to the doctor and got on the scale, and I was like, "Whoa, what happened?" And but also on top of that, my blood pressure was elevated, and I was starting to have issues with my blood pressure. So my doctor at the time wanted to give me a chance to address it. Gave me 3 months. Said, "Hey, you need to lose about 20, 25 pounds." Gave me this list of high sodium foods that I should avoid, and see me in 3 months, and then we can talk about if meds is where we need to go with you. And so I'm devastated because I'm like, wow, this is the first time I ever went to the doctor and really had unfavorable news. And like I said, I was kind of like in denial about the fact that I needed to lose weight, and I didn't know what to do. Handed me the sheet of paper, didn't really tell me or show me how to eat or what I needed to do to really lower my blood pressure. So, and I was not a dietitian at the time. So I'm in the same boat that that most of you all are in. And I did my search. It wasn't Google at that time. It was like the World Wide Web. So I'm like, what do I do to lower my blood pressure? What do I do to lose weight? And back then, information wasn't as readily available as it is now. And so I found the dashed eating pattern, which is something that's very still well respected. And I actually follow that philosophy as well with my clients. And it's not a diet. It's just really emphasizing fruits and vegetables and whole grains and nuts and lean protein and all that stuff. And it really opened my eyes to how I was eating. I mean, I didn't eat out a lot, but the things that I was cooking and all that wasn't quite the best. And I had a lot of room for improvement as far as things had sodium in there that I really didn't realize or I really didn't think about. And so all these things were contending to my blood pressure. And so a few years pass, and my weight hasn't gone up. I managed to stop the weight gain, but I'm still at that weight that I need to get from because I'm too heavy. And I'm making changes to how I'm eating. I feel better, but my blood pressure is still high, or it's still inconsistently getting high at high levels. And so I had a whiff of seeing what dialysis looks like. And I don't know if any of you all know what dialysis is, but it's your kidneys pretty much have failed. And so 3 days a week, you have to go to a dialysis center and get all the toxins and all these things out of your body. You get hooked up to a machine for like 3 or 4 hours, 3 times a week. And that caught my eye. I'm in my 30s. I'm probably in my mid 30s now. And I'm like, that really scared me because I'm like, wow, is this, what I'm asking for because I'm trying to fix this on my own and it's not working? And I'll talk to the nurse, and she was like, well, usually, it's not always the case, but usually when this happens, it's uncontrolled diabetes or uncontrolled hypertension for years, not like 5 years, but we're talking about years and decades. And so that really got my attention because I don't want to cause, I was being prideful. I'm stressed out. Really, honestly, I'm stressed out trying to lower my blood pressure. So that's not helping matters. And that's what really woke me up. to the situation. I ended up working with a dietitian. That's when I got help. I'm like, I don't understand. I don't know what else to do. Got a dietitian, and she opened my eyes. I was on the right track as far as incorporating, more fruits and vegetables and whole grains and things like that. But I wasn't I need there were some dots that I wasn't able to connect in order to find that sweet spot to how much I should eat in order to lose weight, but yet I'm not sacrificing or doing detriment to my blood pressure. And so she was able to help me with that. And she was able to give me the tools that I needed to not just lose the weight. So I'm 3 years trying to do this on my own and to no avail. And I was able to lose 20 pounds in 3 months. And she gave me the tools on how to keep it off because I'm in my early 30s. I'm single. I don't have my son. And so I've gotten married, have my son, went back to school, changed careers. So a lot of life-changing events that normally we lose ourselves, right? We will lose ourselves. And, yeah, I had to reel it in. I had my moments where I, put on a few pounds, but I knew how to reel it back in. And that was what saved me because in many cases, if we don't know how to reel it back in, we just kind of go back to what we know and we don't really realize the gaps that aren't filled, that we're not aware of, and we get frustrated and we're in this vicious cycle of just going through the same thing of not getting the results that we're seeking, no matter the effort that we put in. And so that is what rang. And so I lost the weight, went back to the doctor, and blood pressure is still high. Okay. And so I'm upset. I am disappointed. I'm frustrated. I'm angry because I'm like, I did what I was told to do. It took me 3 years, but I finally did what was asked of me, and I'm still having to take a pill potentially. And I looked at it as a setback because I went there. I'm like, well, I might as well eat what I want to eat. I might as well do what I want to do because it's not working. But the Lord stopped me in my tracks and really spoke to my heart and said, hey, had you not made these changes, you are going down a path that you would have had more problems than just your blood pressure. And that was really an eye opener for me because I see so many people. There's so much out there now, and it can fix one thing maybe, but then it causes other problems as far as their health goes. And I wanted to prevent that. And so I want to prevent people from having to waste 3 years like I did, or waste 3 years and create other problems trying to solve one problem, not realizing it because of what we read. And so that was why I went back to school. And I consider that a comeback because it saved my life. It changed my whole perspective on how I was eating, how I was looking at things, and how I prioritized what I was eating because I went to a period I had let life get in the way and you let yourself go a little bit. And so I had to realize, hey, you only have one life, you only have one body. You got to figure out how to make it work. Yes, the things in life are important, but your health is too. So how do you make them both work? And that's what it's all about. And that's what it's all about. And so people, so that's kind of me in a nutshell. And people generally ask me, what motivates me when I fall off the track? And what motivates me is really my clients. When they share with me, when I get testimonies like they're off their CPAP machine, now they can sleep without a machine on. When I hear that they're no longer having episodes of diverticulitis or inflammation and things like that, or their sugar levels are going down, or their blood pressure is going down, those are the things that really motivate me and say, hey, food is medicine. This is how food works for you. And you notice I didn't say anything about weight loss because that's going to come. To me, that's a bonus, the weight loss, but it's feeling good, fitting in your clothes again. That's really what this thing is all about. And so if I can do it, you all can do it. And so hopefully that inspires you. Hopefully that this gets you even more ready for this challenge because many people think because we're dietitians, we eat perfect and we don't ever overeat or we don't ever stress eat. Negative, okay? Negative. We got to think about it and stay intentional just like everybody else. So I have to practice what I preach and sometimes I don't and I have to reel it back in. So I like to keep it real. So I'm a player coach in this thing, a player coach. And so so I want to empower you all to know how to reel it back in, when things get a little bit, that 15-pound loss becomes a 10-pound loss and you know how to reel it back in. And that's what it's all about. And so what I would like for you to do now, pre-challenge form, and if you did not receive it, let me know if you didn't receive it. But it's something that you should receive online and email. And it's really just a set of questions to kind of let me know where we are, what our baseline is, and what the struggles are. And so usually if I see a pattern, I like to tailor the lives to where people are having very similar struggles. And so we can make this challenge even more personal. Okay. In addition to the set topics that I have, I like to make it personal to my challengers that are involved so we can make sure that you're getting the most out of this over the next 3 days. So your information will stay anonymous. So please fill that information. And if you didn't get it, like I said, let me know. All right. And hopefully that is doable. Okay. So let me know if that's doable. So the guidebook. So now let's get to the fun stuff. Let's get to what we all been waiting for, the guidebook. And I'm going to see if I have any comments or questions. Okay. So the guidebook. Hopefully you have it printed. And what we're going to do, I'm going to go through it with you, just to kind of give you an idea of how to navigate this and hopefully save you some time and also save you some money as well as far as shopping. And so when it opens up, it will, on the second page here, or page 1, it will at least give you the schedule of the topics. So you'll see everything that I'm talking about, 12:30 Eastern time. So please mark your calendars. And even if you can't stay the whole time, please just, come for as long as you can, even if it have to pop in at the end. And then the next section just kind of goes into details about why I created the challenge and a little bit about that background and what it's designed to do. And so that's something that you can read at your leisure, but it just kind of gives you some background on, on the purpose and what we're trying to solve and what we're trying to accomplish during this time. And so the meal plan in brief. And so what the meal plan in brief will say is that it's going to provide you some helpful tips. And so the brief is, so you'll see it titled Important Next Steps as far as you all are in the Facebook group. But on the next page, it has the grocery list and shopping tips, meal prep guide, which I highly recommend if you're not kitchen savvy with planning and prepping, because a lot of times it's daunting to plan and prep because people don't know what to eat and how to go about that. This is a really good tutorial, a good step-by-step guide on how to accomplish that. So it'll tell you on each day what to do and what's leftovers. And so it makes things a lot easier. So you don't feel like you have to do all 3 days on a Sunday or a Monday. So take advantage of that. I recommend looking at the notes section. So look at the notes section in each of the recipes and compare that, because sometimes there's substitutions to what you can purchase. And so and you may already have it in your kitchen. So look for the substitutions, definitely go through the grocery list, and which is on the, which if you turn the page over, you will see a nice grid of at least a photo of the picture of how all the meals and snacks will look. So you can kind of see it charted out for over the next 3 days. And in some cases we have leftovers. And so, and if you have more, if it's just you, I think the recipes are scaled for 2 people. So if it's just you doing it, then you take advantage of having leftovers for the rest of the week. So that's a good bonus. But when you see the grocery list, go through this grocery list. And because if you have things, cross it off, and then also go into the recipe itself in the notes section. Sometimes it'll say, hey, if you don't have this, you can substitute it with that. And so therefore that will help lower your grocery bill. Okay. And let's see here. And so you will see now let's talk about the best day to prep and plan. So the challenge begins on a Tuesday. And let me make sure if I have any questions. So you didn't get the guidebook. Okay, so the guidebook, Heather, is in the it's in the featured section of the group. So if you go up to the top and you'll see the featured section, then that is where you will see the guidebook. And it's a PDF file that you can download. And so this is your actual roadmap. I'm actually going in there now to make sure I can navigate that for you. Let's see here. But yes, it's at the very top in the featured section. So you may need to scroll over, because the first item in the featured section is the link for this particular live. And then if you scroll over to the right, you will see the post-summer detox guidebook. Okay, so let me know if okay, great, you see it. Awesome. And that is definitely your roadmap, because that's going to have all your recipes and everything in there. And so as far as prepping, so Sunday is kind of the typical prep day, but this challenge begins on a Tuesday. So this is where you really can gauge your schedule. And then Monday's a holiday, so that may help as well. But gauge your schedule, gauge your timing. Some things you can still prep on Sunday, and it's fine. It's only 24 hours, so everything will keep well, like the overnight oats and things like that. So most things are not going to go bad in a day. So you still can do everything on Sunday and then kick everything off on Tuesday, or you can do it on Monday and then have everything prepared for yourself on Tuesday. The breakfast cookies, I do recommend doing those on probably the day that you need them. It just you can have the feel of tasting them fresh out of the oven. So that's something that you can kind of prepare to do. It takes you may want to do them the night before versus on a Sunday. And so that's something that's kind of a personal preference there, depending on how you if you want to have it fresh out of the oven type taste. And so you kind of have an option there on Sunday or that initial prep day. For things you can make on Sundays, like prepping the oats. Prepping the oats, you can optional as a time saver. You can prep the butternut squash soup. You can also do that on Sunday. You can either prep the ingredients, already have things prepared to where you just gotta put it in there and cook it. You already have things chopped up and stuff. You can buy the butternut squash already cubed, things like that that makes that process easier for you. But I'm looking for it right now. Here we go. Yes. And therefore you can have that stuff already ready for you and makes it easier for you. And then the kale chips, let's see here. I like to have those kind of fresh because they're kale chips. So it's one of those situations where it tastes better when it's eaten immediately. And so unless you have like an air fryer or something like that where you can or the oven, I like to warm them up in the oven so they can kind of get that crunch factor back when it says leftovers. And then and again, the cookies, you can do those on Monday night. So I'd recommend doing those on Monday night just so they're fresher, but base it off your schedule. Some people can actually do them on Tuesday. If you have the time and the bandwidth to do them on Tuesday, then that's perfectly fine. And then our Monday meals, that's when we're going to kick things off with the overnight oats. And there's no need to add any additional protein or anything like that. Everything is in there. Everything is ready to go. Let me see if I see comments. As I can see. Okay, nope. Just making sure I don't have any questions. And so everything is ready to go. And then tuna and the edamame detox salad. If you don't like tuna, chicken is a substitute. So that's something that you can sub. If there's any nut allergies, because this does have nuts in it, you can substitute with seeds. Okay, so you can do sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds as well. And then the hummus dippers and the cheese sticks. They say they have on here the celery, the carrots, and the bell peppers, but you can sub out if there's any one of those that you don't like. So you have flexibility there. So basically, it's raw veggies, and you're going to have them in hummus. And so you can, and I would say for the hummus, just you can. I usually buy the classic, when I'm doing a challenge. So therefore, the flavors usually will have more processing, more additives, more preservatives, and things like that. So if you're okay with the classic, get the classic. But if there's one that you prefer that's flavored, then that's fine too. So that's not going to really break the bank or anything. For cheese, do reduce fat if you can find it. Sometimes it's very difficult to find. So either say 2%. Or it will say reduce fat. And so Sargento is a good one that kind of pops up in my head initially, but you don't necessarily have to do light or fat-free. Unless you just like light cheese or fat-free cheese, then you can do that, but you don't have to. I like the reduced fat better. It still has fat in it, but it's just not as much. And so it still has a texture of cheese. So that's a personal preference there. And you can get, and if you don't like, you can get whatever cheese that you like, so you don't have to just have the white cheese. So if you don't like white cheese, and you can get sharp or something like that. Okay. And let's see. Let me look for questions. Okay, we look like we're doing good with questions. Let's see here. And then with the butternut squash, with the kale chips, saving time, buy them already cubed, so that helps a whole lot. So that saves a lot of time with the butternut squash itself. And then if you need to add more, there's no need to add any more protein. So it's there. Okay, it's gonna come throughout the day. So if you may feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough protein, but trust me, it's coming in the form of plant-based and the form of animal-based. So you are getting it in. And then we have the popcorn and the peach. Okay, if you want to substitute the peach out, nectarine or eat some other fruit, that's not a problem. Okay, so I usually with fruit, I usually say, hey, what's in season is kind of what you want to aim for. But you have those options there, so you could substitute the nectarine for the peach. And then to save time with the popcorn, you can get the 100-calorie bag, the mini bags, just to make it easy, so you don't feel like you have to have a popper or anything like that. So just get the 100-calorie bag, and that'll last you after the challenge. So it's nothing that'll go to waste. It's a perfect snack that you can add, maybe some nuts or protein like a cheese stick or something to it when the challenge is over with. But in this case, we're pairing it with some fruit. Okay. So if any questions pop up on that, I think I at least got some of the highlights to get you started. And then on Tuesday, I'll talk more about Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, I'll talk more about the final day as far as the meals and prepping the meals like that. But if you have any questions when you're shopping, feel free to update on this thread. And so, because other people may have the same question. And so feel free to update, and I will monitor it, and I will update to help you out with the shopping. And so let's talk about timing. Talk about the timing of meals. So you'll notice on the grid where it just says breakfast, it just says lunch, dinner, snack. So there's no times, right? And so there's a reason for that. So it depends on your schedule. Okay, everybody's schedule is different. And so that being said, I'm going to give you some helpful guidelines to space your meals out and to make sure you stay fueled. So you want to have a continuous fuel throughout the day. And that's what's going to help sustain your energy levels throughout the day, so you don't have that afternoon slump or coming home at the end of your day just totally exhausted to where you don't want to do anything. And so what people don't realize, our bodies, as we eat, we're using it in most cases. And even if we have a sit-down job, we're still using energy and using the food that we're burning. So at some point, we have to replenish. Okay, so we're not really designed to do one meal a day and go long periods of time without eating. And so for breakfast, I usually say when you wake up, within 2 hours. So whatever that is, within an hour is even better, but I give a 2-hour window, and because we want to, we're a little bit dehydrated when we wake up. We should be a little bit not starving, but if your metabolism is awake, then you should be ready to eat, especially if you've been sleeping at least 7 hours the night before. And so we want to break that fast. And that's what breakfast is. We're breaking the fast from sleeping. And so we want to give our body real energy and real fuel. And so you may, my coffee drinkers, if you would like to have coffee with your breakfast, feel free. Okay. But coffee alone is not breakfast, but feel free to add coffee to this if that's what you want to do. But over time, my clients my coffee drinkers, they find themselves depending less and less and not even thinking about the coffee. And so the food is your energy. And so you want to jumpstart your day. You want to get your energy levels going. And so that's what breakfast is going to do for you within that 2-hour window. Okay. And then think about 4 hours, 3.5 to 4 hours after your main meal. So when I say main meals, I mean breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, what's happening in 3.5, 4 hours? Are you able to have the lunch? Or is it too early, depending on how early your breakfast is? Maybe you need to move a snack. So the snacks can move based off where you need them. So snacks are those, I like to call them bridges in between meals. And so if you're at that 4-hour mark and maybe it's too early for lunch, or maybe something popped up and you can't go to lunch, instead of going another potential 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 hours, totaling like 6, 7 hours without eating, move one of these snacks, have a quick snack, and then that'll buy you a couple of hours, and then usually 1 to 2 hours, and then have the meal. So the goal is you want to keep sustainable energy. You don't want to allow yourself to get too hungry. When we get too hungry, all bets are off. Okay, you're going to want something greasy, something fattening, something crunchy, something salty, something sweet. You're not going to want nothing that's healthy. Okay, your body's going to be craving, and we want to control that. And that's one of the ways we control that, by not allowing ourselves to feel deprived. Okay, so those are your main markers. So within 2 hours for breakfast, kind of watch 3.5, 4 hours after breakfast. Okay, is this a good time for lunch? If not, have a snack. 1 to 2 hours later, have your lunch. Same thing. When you have lunch, another 3.5, 4 hours. So the afternoon snack is one that I definitely say that is mandatory. The morning snack may be optional, depends on the timing between your breakfast and lunch. Some people eat breakfast 8 o'clock. They have lunch at 12. So there's really no need for a morning snack in most cases. And so you have your snacks later in the day. But that afternoon snack between lunch and dinner, I definitely that was more mandatory because that's when it's that dangerous time frame when cravings kick in. And if you're somebody who goes to the office, that's when people bringing in donuts and cookies and all that kind of stuff. So you want to kind of, not have yourself so vulnerable to where you're feeling like, the food is screaming at you. So think about between lunch and dinner around that 3.5, 4 hour mark, have one of these snacks. You can switch them. You can have whichever one that you want to have, and that'll help bridge that gap to get you home so you can have dinner without having to stop at a fast food restaurant. Okay, so that's really what it's all about there. So let me check for comments. Okay, let's check for comments. um I am against fasting for weight loss. Yes. If you're fasting for, yes, intermittent fasting is usually a form of trying to lose weight, for trying to lose weight. And yeah, you may lose a few pounds, but usually either you plateau or you end up getting it back. And plus our body's really not designed for that. Fasting, to me, the time that you're supposed to fast is when you're sleeping, and that's 7 to 9 hours. That's when we fast. That's the best time to fast. It gives our body a chance to rest and recuperate, recover from the day, recover muscle recovery from exercise, brain recovery, etc. So to me, that's the best time to fast. Is from that hour. But during the day, we need to fuel our bodies so you're not feeling so like I said, most people are doing it for weight loss, and long term, it doesn't give the results. And in some cases, people who intermittent fast too much or too often, maybe they do it for years and years, it actually can impact your sugar levels. So I have seen it where it does raise people's sugar levels. So we want to lose it healthy. We want to make it a lifestyle. But thank you for asking that. Good question. And so let's see here. So we talked about snacks. So that's really important. And then how the challenge will run. So let's talk about how the challenge will run, just to kind of give you an idea. So we talked about timings. I forgot to give you that. And so how the challenge will run. And so I go on at 12:30 live. I'm going to do that on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I encourage you all to come out. Questions. Usually I like to share any feedback or any questions that people have. I keep people's names anonymous, but if people have asked me questions offline, then I like to share that because I know that it'll help other people. But it's also a good way for you to see who's doing this with you, and it could be a motivator. And so you'll also have two posts. You'll have a morning post around 10 a.m. ish, and you'll have an evening post around 7 p.m. ish. And what these are, they're just daily check-ins. And so it's a way to say, hey, how are we doing? How was breakfast? How was grocery shopping? That's the first one that you're going to see. How did that process go? How did meal prepping go? What were your challenges? I love to hear challenges. I love to hear the good stuff too, but I really like to hear the challenges because I want people to know that, okay, yes, we're going to have different roadblocks, but we work through those. And I don't want you to struggle through that by yourself. So let me know what the roadblocks are so we can help you through that. And that's how things become a lifestyle, because we are working through it, and versus just, okay, we'll just wait. I want you to be able to marry the two and make that work for you. And so, and then in the evening is the check-in. It's kind of, well, how did lunch go? How did dinner go? What challenges did you have? What successes? I like to hear the successes because people are surprised at what can happen in 3 days. You will lose, but you'll also have more energy. You will also feel less bloated. You will see a difference in your mind as far as concentration and brain fog. So there's a lot of things that can happen in just a short period of time of 3 days. And I will encourage you to try to get 7 hours of sleep. If you're not getting 7 hours of sleep, kind of make that a fast. There's many ways to fast. So if you normally go to bed late, you're only getting 5 hours of sleep for 3 days, take that plunge and say, okay, let me get 7 hours, because just to see what that feels like, you will see a huge difference. Even if you get 6.5, it makes a difference. Those 30 minutes really make a difference, along with the eating. So they work together hand in hand. So that's what's going to help increase your energy levels, the eating and the rest. They both work together. And then the live training, I'll have a different topic every day. And then, and that's an opportunity. And usually the training is related to the theme, but it's really just to give you more information and more nuggets, okay, as far as health and nutrition and things of that nature. And so I say, encourage you to mark your calendars, even if you can't stay the whole time. And so that is all I have. Hopefully, I've given you everything that you need. But if you have any additional questions that pop up, please post. And if things pop up this weekend, because usually we shop on the weekends, and so don't hesitate to post. Okay, so I will monitor, and because I know the challenge is going on, so I expect to see some questions, because once you get out there and go to the grocery store, you wonder, is this the right thing to buy, or can I substitute for this because the store is out of that? So those are the kind of questions that I can help you with over the weekend. And so I thank you for tuning in. I'm excited. Enjoy, I'm going to say this, enjoy your 3-day holiday. It is not the Last Supper. So a lot of times people will just pig out the day before the challenge because they feel like everything is going to go away and they can't eat anything. So don't do that. Eat mindful. You know, I'll always say that, eat mindful and listen to your body, but enjoy your holidays with your family, and eat and be merry. So, and then on Tuesday we will start the challenge. Okay. What fluids do you suggest? Well, definitely water. We know water is the mix here. Honestly, the juices and all that kind of stuff, as far as like, even if it's 100% fruit juice, that's really not accounted for. So if you felt the need for it, it will just add, to it. But the oatmeal, the breakfast will have milk, which is a fluid. So some things are built in. But as far as, is there anything particular you want to drink? Because usually I would just say do the water, but if there's something else that you want to, and you can put, some people like to put different things in the water if they're not a big water drinker. But if it's anything else, it's going to have additional calories. So I would not. I will leave that up to you as far as if you feel like you need that extra boost or not. So, is there anything particular that you wanted to ask about as far as fluids? And I'll just pause and wait for a comment there. Oh, okay. You want to put the crystal lights in your water? That's fine. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, usually I was going to say people put the packets in, or they'll put the lemons or limes, or so. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, even if my coffee drinkers still have your coffee, if you want to cut it out for the 3-day challenge, that's totally up to you. But coffee is not a forbidden food. So it's more so what you put in it is what we got to be mindful of. So, but the coffee itself is healthy. If it's caffeinated, I will usually say limit it to 16 ounces a day when it's caffeinated. When it's decaf, then it's like water, unless it's loaded with the sugar and cream. So that doesn't have limits to it. Okay. Well, I thank you for your questions. I thank you for tuning in. And like I said, if anything pops up over the weekend, even on Monday, if anything pops up, post, and you will get your feedback so you're ready. I want everybody to be armed and ready for Tuesday. So I'm excited to see you all on Tuesday, and have a wonderful 3-day weekend, and be blessed. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye. Good night.